What's going on? Welcome back to the channel. We're here with an empty garage, but I got exciting news. Yesterday, Jason over at Lambo Philly gave me a call. He's the service manager over there. Gave me the call and the Lamborghini is finally done getting serviced. So I'm super excited. We're gonna go pick that up in a little bit. My neighbor Frank's gonna come over. He'll give me a ride over. So maybe we'll do a whole video on, actually, I guess a couple days ago was a year of ownership since I had it. So maybe we'll do a whole video on, the yearly maintenance, what it costs to own the car for a year, and kind of go through that. So it's been about 2 months getting worked on, so I'm super excited to go get it. So in a little bit, we'll take a ride over to Lambo Philly and go grab the car. Back here in the garage. I'm so excited to have it back. It's been about 2 months out getting serviced over at Lambo Philly. Wasn't their fault at all for having it that long, with the whole COVID thing and parts and everything. It just took so long to get the parts. So they're awesome over there. They did a great job, super friendly. Gave me a whole bunch of gear, hats, t-shirts, umbrella, things like that. So just super happy with the results, getting it back from them. Big shout out and thank you to them. Really appreciate that. Jason is the service manager over there. He's awesome. And Adam, he was the technician. Did a great job. Super happy. So thanks again, Lambo Philly. So I've had this car for about a year and 3 days now. And it's been a blast. I've loved it the whole time. So I kind of bought this car to flip it. Kind of, just to buy it, have some fun with it, sell it and move on to something else. So, but once I got it, I've been really enjoying it. So, kind of kept it a little longer, and I'm glad I did. It's been a great car. I love it. So, but what happened was, I went to a rally up, and we met up over at Fab Speed. That was the meeting point. When I got to Fab Speed, it was overheating. So we let it cool down, we checked the fluid, and in the radiator reservoir, the overflow, it was pretty dry. So I was low on fluid. So I went in the rally anyway, and didn't have issues. I mean, it got a little hot, but it never overheated. But I knew something was up. So I came home, I just thought I had maybe a slow leak somewhere. So I came home and got some fluid, some antifreeze, and added that, drove it around, parked it, checked it the next day, and it was dry again in that overflow. So I knew something was kind of going on. So I called Lambo Philly to schedule it, get it in there. I wanted to get an annual service done anyway. So I was going to wait a couple months, but figure with this issue, now's the time to do it. So brought it in there, and I'll tell you what they found. So when I bought this car, I knew it was in an accident. So it was hit in the right front end. And I kind of knew that going in. And it didn't bother me. As long as the car was fixed right, I think it had like 5,000 miles on it when the car got in an accident like 12 years ago. So the car's been on the road since then. It's actually in a lot of YouTube videos, like in Lambro Steve's videos, it's in his intro, every one of his intros, it's like, has the green underglow, shooting out flames and stuff, so it's been on his videos. It was even in Daily Driven Exotics video, one of their videos. It was in there back from 2017. So I knew the car has been on the road, it's been running, it's fine. So I was fine with that and knew that going in. So as long as it was fixed right. So when I brought it in there, what they found was that the radiator hoses were just kind of dry rotted and leaking. So it's a 2004. Over time, just those rubber hoses heating up and then cooling, heating up and cooling, and then just over time, they're gonna get old and dry rot and crack. So it was leaking out of them slow. That's why I never noticed any puddles under the car or anything like that, and didn't realize I had an issue. Well, when they changed those, they realized that the radiator had a little crack in it on the right side, I guess where it was hit. So again, nothing major, but it was leaking, slowly out of there. And I just wanted it fixed right. So I wanted to take care of everything. And that was some of the other things. They said some of like the radiator support and some of the bolts and things like that were kind of just, not really done right. So I wanted all that done right. So they ordered all the parts for that new radiator. Radiator was pretty pricey, I thought, but I just wanted it done right. So we got all that taken care of. So as far as the cost, now annual maintenance on this car is actually not that bad. I was kind of surprised. So if you just did your oil change and all the just annual maintenance stuff, they like retorque bolts on the suspension or something like that, and just some fluids checked and all that. It's actually not that bad. It's $657. So for a Lamborghini, I didn't think that was bad at all. Now, so we had that done. So that's $650 there. I had another key that I wanted, like a spare key. I didn't have a spare key, so I bought the key. Key was $400, which again, for a Lamborghini isn't bad. Some of these new Mercedes or even, just BMW keys, they're over $1,000. So for a Lamborghini key, $400, not bad. It was $100 to program it. So that wasn't a big deal. The radiator hoses and radiator and things like that, that's where the money was. So the radiator, I think was like $1,500 or something. I don't see it on here yet, and the hoses weren't that bad price-wise, but it was the labor. The labor was really intensive for the radiator hoses because it kind of goes from the front of the car through the car to the back of the motor, and there's like no room to get to it. So that was the majority of the cost, was just putting in those radiator hoses was like $4,500. So that was pretty pricey there. They also did like state inspection and emissions. I didn't really need the emissions. I had the classic tags on it, so I'm kind of exempt from emissions. But we got that done anyway. That way, again, if I sell it, it's a good selling point, show, passes emissions and everything. There was also when I got the car, had like a little rattle under the car, and I didn't know what that was. And here it was like a sway bar bushing was like just kind of worn. So that was another item that took a while. So the bushing was no problem shipping here, but there was like these clamps that go on top or something like that. And again, they had to come from Italy. There was nothing here, and that took a little bit. Jason actually hooked me up on that. He had a rush shipment on them because when they changed the bushing, they realized they needed the clamp too. So they rushed that over, but that still took a little bit. That whole process was about $1,200. So again, for Lamborghini stuff, that to me that doesn't seem that bad at all. And then they did like a brake flush, brake fluid flush and things like that. So all said and done, with the service, inspection, all the problems I had, I I am $7,734. So honestly, to me, that's not that bad for how long they had the car, all that labor that had to be done. To me, I'm fine with that price. I mean, it's a lot of money for sure, but it's a Lamborghini, and those parts aren't cheap, and the labor is really intensive, so that's not too bad. Now, over the years, or over this year, I bought some other things like the plates, the tags on it. I got the customized crypto license plate, so that was like $300. I bought some paint touch-up just in case I get some chips I want to take care of. That was like $40 or something, and that key, I think I told you that key was $400, and then the programming. So again, everything I spent over this past year was about $8,500. So again, owning the car has been such a blast, and really no problems besides what I just went through, and I'm just super happy with it. So to me, the $8,500 was worth it. I think the car's all good to go now. It's all set. They did a snap test on the clutch. It had an upgraded clutch. That was one of the other things I wanted to mention too. So the snap test on the clutch they just did was about 70 to 80% clutch life left in it. So that's really good. And it has that upgraded clutch in it. I think I have 22,000 miles on it. I think at like 17,000 miles, they did that Kevlar clutch. So the car should be good for a long time with that. Around, where was it here? I wanted to mention this. Oh, around 15,000 miles on the car, a major service was done. So the person that had it then, they put in a new starter, new coils and plugs, new alternator, new AC compressor and condenser, all new sensors, new EGR tubes, new O2s, and all the fluids, again, like that annual service type thing. So that major service was done, which was really awesome too. The air conditioner works great in here. I know some of these have issues with the air conditioner, and again, a lot of them had issues with that clutch, that E-gear system. Really wore out those clutches, in the beginning. So some guys were like burning out clutches like 2,000 to 5,000 miles, and they were like toast. So, but again, this one has upgraded clutch. It's grabbing real good, so I don't have to worry about that. So anyway, that's just, something I figured I'd share over this past year, just the maintenance. And again, driving this car is a blast. It gets noticed. It's a bright yellow Lamborghini, so it's kind of fun that way. Going to shows and rallies and just meeting people that way it's a great time. I'm super happy with the car. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do moving forward, if I'm going to sell it or what. So what I was thinking about purchasing a brand new Huracan. So what I was going to do is kind of use it for my work too, like the wipeout P.D.R. stuff. Put a ski box on the top of it, have all my tools in that, use that as my daily driver going to work. It's a little kind of out there, but I thought that would be really cool, just like something I would like to do, like for my business, and just to have that like talking point about it, having the car all lettered up and just looking cool with the ski box and all that stuff. So I was looking into that. I was looking into leasing it, or even like purchasing one and financing it, and it kind of just doesn't make sense for me right now to do that. I bought this car outright, so I had the cash, I bought it. Again, I kind of did it as an investment, so I'm really not out anything owning this car. So that's why I'm like kind of debating what to do. If I own the car outright, all I have to do is the maintenance and things like that. So I'm kind of enjoying it that way. A new Huracan, again, it's going to cost me a lot more. It's payments, things like that. Now, if I use it for the business and letter it all up, again, that's a tax write-off. So that's something I'm thinking about. But what I'm also weighing is, do I sell this car and then put that money towards the Huracan, or do I just keep this? Like, just keep this, it's paid for, it's done, just kind of have it sit here. I don't think it'll ever go down in value. I think I'll be okay that way. When I purchased the car, it was right before the whole COVID thing and the spike in car sales and things like that. So I got this car for a great price, like a great price even then. So I'll never get hurt on the car that way. Even if I blow the motor or something like that, I could park the car out for less than kind of what I paid for it. So I'm good that way. But a new Huracan would be really nice, just that warranty. They're super reliable, more reliable than these. You know, people have been driving them 60, 70,000 miles and have no issues. So, it's just something to think about if I was going to use it for work, something like that. But again, the payments are up there. But we'll touch on that later, I guess, and see how that goes. But as far as owning this, the past year, maintenance-wise, again, if you get lucky, you're talking under $1,000 to do a full annual service, you know, with inspection and all that stuff. So really owning this car is no big deal. And, you know, for me, insurance, I mentioned this in my other video, insurance for me on this car is nothing. It's about, I think I pay like $600 a year, $680 or something like that. So it's not even that noticeable. And it's insured well, so I don't have to worry about, you know, if something happens to it. But so just something I wanted to share. Hopefully you like the video. If you like it, like, subscribe to the channel. I do other, you know, car shows and stuff like that, but also my dent removal process. So hopefully you liked it, and we'll catch you on the next one.